Feel me like a Hellcat.
Hey guys, welcome back to Minecraft, and welcome back to the Village of Awesomeness. Hello! Well, a lot has been going on, obviously, as it's actually kind of hard to see from up here, so we're up on the bridge. Yeah, I've not done a ton with this, but I've been weathering it down, so as you'll see from here, I'm not sure I showed you this last time, but it's nice and worn. I love it. Either way, let's take a swim down here to the town. There's been some changes. I have new signs. Yes, I do. And, well, that house got shorter. I didn't like it. It was too tall. I made it shorter. It fits more nicely now. And behind the market, as I'm weirdly juddering, not sure why that was, we have the apothecary shop, which I built up here. I wanted some verticality to the town. I'm probably going to have a little bookshop up here. I'll move some of this hillside. But inside here, a little apothecary shop. Not sure what this will be, but it'll be something. And, well, the upstairs is going to be the living quarters once I fill that in. Needs to be done still. But every place needs a potion shop. And I can't hop over those walls. That's annoying. Unfortunately, the beautiful viewing pond has gone. I had to turn it into a road, and what will soon be the bakery, which is here. Yeah, there's a lot of similar stylings going on. I quite like the aesthetic, so I'm sticking with it, actually. This will be the bakery once it's done. That'll be the actual oven area in the rear. But the bakery is nothing inside right now. It's just empty space. I am so working on this. But, yes. The reason we're here today is a very valid one. And I put my shulker down for a second because I need to quickly pick up something. Which will be this. Come here. There we go. Yes, I need a shulker now for all my building. Let's go up here real quick. Remember how there was a whole forest across here? Yeah, not anymore. No. I felt it needed to have some expansion, so hence why the pond is gone. We have a little bridge. I opened all this area of trees up to make some scenic fields. There's never actually going to be any crops I'm growing in here. I just don't need them. And that's lilac, acting like a large kind of herb crop, and some rose in the edge there. I might change that out. We'll see. But large scenic crop fields, because the town needs some farmland. And what does farmland need? It needs a farm. So, with that in mind, as we'll dance through the fields of lilac here, which is actually kind of fun. You can actually hide in this. No one will see you. We're going to build a farm today, which is why I have concrete powder on me. So, first off, we need to decide what we're going to build. And this whole video is basically going to be dedicated to building this house, or farmhouse, I should say. Now, I'm probably going to dig out a bit of this area here. Shovel go burr. In fact, let me just pop this down here. And get out a few of the necessary items we'll need for our building. First of all being, guess what? Those tables. And I want to quickly delete a bit more hillside. Yes. Efficiency 5, pick shovel go burr. I'll tidy this up once I'm done, but in general, yeah, a little bit more. Okay, this should do. I'm going to be building a farmhouse here. I want it to be tucked in so I get some room for kind of stuff around it, and we'll do a little farmyard, but we're going to start laying it out. So I need to build my design, and to spec that out, I'm going to first lay out my template, if we will. So I'm going to start actually more here. 5, 6, 7. We'll go 7. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Huh, yeah, okay. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that gives us quite a nice offset building shape, which I quite like. And we're going to throw in our end wall here. And I'm going to actually include room for a little patio there. So that'll be, yeah, actually that'll be space. So we have room. We'll count that towards the end. So we know what we want to do. We just have to build over it now, which is the tricky part. So let's grab our stone that we had earlier. So what I'll do is I'll throw in this first row on top. And of course screw it up, but I have my silk touch pickaxe, so that's fine. Now I'm going to just do this in stone first, and then we'll texture it later, because it's going to be just faster for me to get the shape sorted out. And then fill it in at a later date. I'm doing this completely off the cuff now. There was a time where I used templates to build buildings, and I'd look at YouTube guides and see what people did with their builds, and I'd follow instructions, and I've learned a lot of techniques from those that I've grown to use myself in my own ways. And I actually find much more satisfaction now from building what I want, how I want it. So I'm going to combine a couple of different techniques with this one. An old texturing style I used with an old property, and a newer one. Let's catch that. There we go. And this should be a simple process of complete the dots. As I need more. I'm going to need a lot more stone. I already can feel this. As I can't for some reason. There we go. Get more of this. Okay. So we're good there. Nope. We're one over there. Okay. So that's our first 2 layers of house here. Now, it's going to be easy just to fill a floor in on the bottom level, so that's absolutely fine. So for now, I'm just going to help myself out of this. And we're going to build this up to 5 blocks high. So we're on 3 on this end. 5. This is not the most efficient way, I will tell you that now. Neither is this, using a shovel for getting rid of leaves. But you know what? I'm not switching my tools. That would be even more time consuming. And this gets a lot quicker once you just hammer out the stacks like this. Once you've got your initial layer or 2 in, you can just fill those blocks up. And I should be getting low on supplies here, so I may have to go off and go and acquire some more, which won't be the... Yeah, there we go. We're out. Now, 5 blocks looks high, but you'll see once we do this, we'll be kind of scoping it out a bit and shaping this a little bit better. In fact, it could be a little bit shallow. So we might extend it slightly, although I'm liking the overall space we have for this. Yeah, I think the size it'll take will be appropriate, so we'll go with that. It's getting dark. I'm going to go get some more stone, so I will see you all very soon. Okay, so we're back over here at the farmhouse and I have more stone. So it should be a simple case of filling out our inner wall structure, we'll call it. Now, texturing this is actually really easy. You can do it as you build it, which can take a little bit more time, but it gives you a better idea of the structure shape you'll get if you do it in one go. Now, realistically, what I would do here is literally a case of knocking out odd ones here, and I think I need to go to the shoulder actually for my supplies in this case, because I want those, and I will want those. But I also want to make some more bricks, because bricks are really useful. There we go. So what I will do here is I'll just go plonk, 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 plonk. And all of a sudden we have a textured wall. And it can be that simple as I screw that up a little bit there. Put one here, we'll put one there. Okay, boom. That works nicely for our wall. Doing that across the entire thing is nice and easy, but what we need first is logs. Because I want a warmer tone than the rest of the forest, because it's a farmer's house, it'll be nice. So we'll build up our wooden pillars on each corner, which means I'm going to have to get rid of some more tree. It's a little weird having it bordering right onto dark oak, but I don't care. Okay, that's one there. Now, we'll deal with the inner portions once we get to that, but we're designing this as we go. So, you're kind of riding this journey with me when it comes to building. There we go. And yeah, I'll just get rid of this, just for simplicity's sake. What did he do? A furious cocktail. He made Molotovs in Minecraft. He may well have done. Okay, so we have our four corners here with our wood trim. Now we're going to want to put some wood along here. So I'm thinking we do it on the end of each of these rows. Because it is kind of following the general line of the house, but it's also offsetting. What it does mean is that things are generally even, which is acceptable. Ow, I fell off that. So we don't need to be on the end of each of those pots there. So we'll be going from there to here. Just a little bit less pain as we jump off things there. Okay, so we have our pillars in place. Following the general trend line of the house, as we fly away here, we can see that's looking nicely structured. Now, where I'll put my door, and as you see here, the texture just fits perfectly once we've done one. We can do the rest, no problem. So now I need to decide where I'm putting various parts of this house. Now, I want to put a patio on this section, I think, here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the trick is always to build things uneven when it comes to Minecraft, because it looks better. So we wanted to do one of the things here, which will probably be like our little outhouse segment. We'll throw some brick in this and some stone, which means this is too even, having one on the corner. So we'll do that, and we'll do this, and yeah, 2 is not a big deal. So we'll build something on this end, that's fine, but a front door would be at the front. So we have the 2 blocks here, which are a little bit narrow, and we have a 3 here. So I'm actually going to put the entrance on this one. So our entrance doorway will be here. And because we're going for that kind of warm farmhouse look, I'm going to use a step as the top of my door, rather than it being something broader, because we'll put something above it as well. But for now, this will do. I don't have any doors on me, I don't think. Would you believe it? I have a door on me. So now we're going to build this out here. The rain's a little annoying, but, you know, it is what it is. As we go, Okay. This is our entranceway, and we'll have, of course, our flooring at this height, so that's fine. Which means we'll put our door in there. That's our first door. Now, when it comes to windows, they're going to be up against this wooden side on these slat pieces and further in this one, which is manageable. It puts us in a really good position in terms of the interior wall. You'll notice here we want to go for kind of ballpark the centre, so this will be our ground level. We want it to be here and here. So you see here it's butting up against that, which makes it even in the general appearance of the building. Now here, that was too low, of course, which you'll notice in a second. Boom. Now this floor's a little bit low, isn't it? What we need is a bunch of wood. There we go. We'll go for spruce. It's fitting the general kind of theme we're rocking with right now. I'm probably going to strip these logs actually on the front. Switch out for a wooden tool this time. I'm thinking of using brick, as you can tell from my inventory, for the roof of this build. I kind of went to look at my colour palette and was thinking I want warmer tones in general, so a red roof I think will look quite nice. And give us something different and more vibrant to look at. And a warmer tone will kind of fit with the farmer's aesthetic, I think, is the general goal for this. And I'm out of stuff, of course. Of course! That is how it always works, isn't it? Now I have to fill that hole in even though it'll be covered because I'm pedantic about that sort of thing. But this is our interior space on this side. Now we're probably going to put a window or a doorway here, but we have our main door there. So do we really need one? No. We'll likely make this a room of some kind. So we'll just knock this out here. We'll put one up here. This might be a small room like a bathroom. But we want a little lean-to part in the house, just to make a storeroom maybe. So in fact, I'm going to want to make this wider by 1. To kind of fill this area in without it looking like it's too small. Because we want it to be at least 3 by 3. So it has to be 5 by 5. That is how the old Minecraft works. So, boom, done. That'll be our floor space for that. And it'll prop nicely onto the end of the house without being full size. We can make it a little bit lower and angled, giving us a different roof line attached to the structure. Now, we'll probably have some awning areas here for pens and things, and some, maybe a barn at some point, but not right now. First, of course, is the house. So, we have our first pedestal there. We have our first row of windows. The rest of the windows can really be decided later. That's not important right now. What is important is the roof. And getting that structure set in correctly is going to be important for us. But first we want to decorate. So I'm going to go grab some spruce slabs. I have some I prepared earlier. But they're going to be a little bit light, so we actually wanted to strip these off. This adds to our warm aesthetic and separates it a little bit, makes it look a bit more rustic. We just run along there and right click with our shovel. Our axe, sorry. Boom. And we go to the next one here. Boom. No problem there. Got a hole in the ground, which I'm going to have to fill in because, again, I just can't leave it like that. It feels wrong. I fill this whole level in here because it actually makes things a bit more balanced. It looks like the slope's still building up there. Yeah, that works. We'll let it butt down to that edge. Okay. So now we have it. In fact, you know what? I don't like that window there because you can see what the problem is. We're butting up against the wall. So we'll move this over by 1 so it's in the center. Which, if we go inside, looks far more even here in this 3. Okay? So we'll probably do the same on the back. So it'll eventually be leading into more forest area. But as you'll see here, these are in the center of the wall as well. So we'll do the same on this end. We're going to need it anyway eventually. So we'll knock out those 2 middle ones. And have some windows. Now the door here is obviously on this piece, which is fine. It's central on the outside. It comes in on the wall on the outside, so it's corner fed. Which happens to a lot of doors. So it makes sense for us. Now I may build this out of a slightly different material. We'll see. But the pad would be the same as the actual structure. Now we want to decorate the house. And the exterior is looking pretty bland. Texture's everything when it comes to Minecraft. It makes such a huge difference, and it's getting dark. So, you know what? Again, I'm going to go sleep, and I will join you all as soon as this is done. Okay, so we are back at the farm, and we have done all the texturing we needed to do on the walls. Nice and easy there. We just popped it around all those various walls, given it a little bit of colour, and suddenly we have vibrance. So, what we need next is not only our trapdoors, but our spruce slabs. Now, the spruce slabs we're going to be using along the tops here of each of these levels. Have to hop up on that. There we go. And it's going to give us a bit of an overhang here. So I'm actually going to go over by 1 on each of these things to give us a nice consistent loop around here. Now, probably going to go over the edge here as well, just to wrap around this. So I'll probably need to go grab some more of those real quick, because it turns out you use them pretty quickly. And we're out of storage space already. Oh boy, do I hope I have room for this stuff. Well, arrows can go away. As could apparently everything else, because I have too much stuff. Where's the dirt? That can go too. There we go. Okay. And I still have too much stuff. Welcome to the world of Minecraft, where you literally can have too much. I need way more trapdoors than I have, so let's make some more of those as well. And I think we just about... Still need to throw away those. Yeah, we'll get those back later. Now, of course, one thing I always like doing is using trapdoors here as shutters. They look fantastic on windows. And having a bit of uneven there, so to either side, actually adds a lot more kind of uniqueness to the structure. Put them on the top and bottom there and close them. And you have shutters on the windows. We'll put glass in later, of course, but And we'll build this up at the same time. Put those on there. Now I have a lot of lockable items I don't really care about, but that's how it goes. And I fell in, of course. Right, where was I? We needed those slabs, so... Extra clicking is always a bit of a pain, but efficiency 5 makes it look a little bit more tolerable, I should say. Now, I'm starting to be uncertain about this, but somehow this by accident has actually looked good, so I'm going to stick with that for now. Because by happy accident, we've actually ended up with something that actually makes the design feel like it has more sense to it. So we're going over by 1 and then cornering it off. Once again, the tree will combat us here. And we won't need that corner detail there because it will actually be hidden. This is something you can do if you're butting up against something in a design. You can just hide it and it'll be fine. Now I'm deliberately leaving this off this side because I may need to have the room. But I will put the forward pieces on and the side pieces on there. Yeah, more of this is going to go away. I'm sorry, tree. This is really not your day for the environment. You won't see most of this once it's done. There we go. Climb on the edge of that. And we're not going to see the other side of it, so we're fine. Right. So that is our general kind of roof plan, floor plan sorted out here. Now, when it comes to an actual roof, another trick you can do to add some really nice texture to the interior is to use those same logs we had before, but now in a more structured way. So we're going to put these along here. 3, and then we're going to go for a 2. So at every nook we have there. Boom. It's almost like that was intentional. We strip these off nicely. Of course, this isn't creative mode, this is survival, so you actually have to do it yourself. We'll grab our... Because we'll have a single story structure, but we'll have the attic space be usable. Now, why am I doing this with those planks? Because not only am I going to hang my lanterns from these, but using these makes the interior look like it has a lot more space inside it. So rather than it now being only 3 or 4 blocks high, as you'll come inside and see, rather than being 3 blocks of height for the entire roof, we feel like we have more space and we feel like we actually have construction with an actual substantial surface in there. And these, you'll find out, are lined up with our exterior beams. So the house actually looks like it has some kind of, engineering principles applied to it, even though it definitely doesn't. There you go. Not on the front, though, because angles are weird. We'll worry about that later. Anyway, we're outside now. So this is our structure we have as it stands, and it's looking kind of rustic. But we need to think about a roof. And we do have a lot of the bricks. Let's chuck those in here. And I should now have quite a few. I'm going to need more. That is the downside. I definitely don't have enough. So this will definitely be a principle of the issue rather than actual doing it. Now I want to use red, but I also don't want to use red for the entire surface of this because I think it could look a little bit samey. So what we are going to do is we're going to start on the exterior edging over here. Now we're going to build out to this point here, and this will be our overhang. So if you're building in in survival and don't want scaffolding, you literally just turn around, place it at the upper angle there and there, and you end up with a nice smooth grade without too much work. It becomes nice and easy. So what do we do with this general front surface? We go along here, plopping them 1 over the edge. So we're going to have a general overhang of 2 on this entire structure. Now, this is where we kick over that edge slightly. And we bring it along like that. And you'll see we get a nice, smooth roof edge on the structure. And we tick it onto here. And our final edging there, which will come to our second ending on the building there. Now this allows us to bring this up to the pinnacle point we'll be using. about halfway along, which should be about here. So now, as we drop down here, as dusk is falling yet again, we've got a nice structure forming up here, which will do us nicely. I'm going to go get some more brick, and I will see you when it's daylight, because I need to go find a lot more clay. Well, it's early morning here, and the farmhouse has got a roof on it, or at least most of a roof. Now, you'll notice the back half, as I struggle with scaffolding, doesn't. Scaffolding, best building tool ever. And you'll notice we've got this nice stepping effect with the roof, with the angle to the building. Now, I've done part of the rear, but not all of it. I need to fill in this part and remove half a tree. We'll do that later. Now, what I need to go down here and do, though, is I've made a hole in the wall. I'll show you what that is in a second. But first, we're going to get some brick blocks. That's the wrong tool for that. We need a... There we go. And we'll make a hole there. Okay. So I need probably just 2 more. So guess what these will have to do. Now we have a chimney stack. Slap on a nice little fire. Grab some oak trapdoors. Because I want a nice quaint small look to this house rather than a much bigger style chimney, as you'll see on some of those buildings over there where it's much larger scale. Here. Really? The one time I get the angle wrong. Ah! Oh! I'm stupid, don't mind me. I was attaching to the wrong part. Now we have a nice little smoking chimney. Small scale to fit the building. And I'll fill the rest of this out once I do some environmental damage. Yeah. So, what do we have here? Well, we have our interior, and we have a fireplace with a step the right way up. Small, tiny, well fitted for scale. And it looks like it's actually a fireplace. Now, because that's quite small on the back, we can add more detail if we like to make it a little broad at the bottom. Or we can leave it to size, and it actually fits just fine. Now, I wanted to do a little angled piece of roofing on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab a bunch of these spruce slabs we have. Now, for a slightly lower angle on the roof, we can do something very similar, but much easier. Now, for the upper part here, we have to join it into the roof of the actual building. I'm just going to actually make us a hole here so we can access the upper areas whilst we're working. Now, we're going to have to put our roof end on here, which will likely come along here. So for the time being, I'm just going to use stone as it is a temporary filler material for this bottom row. Because this is where I'm going to attach the top of the lean-to. Now what I'll do here is I'll go 1 over each side. So it's basically the entire width of this section of roof, short of those. Now I'll put 1 here, drop down and do that. And screw it up completely. Okay then. We'll do that. I'll just do this. There we go. Sometimes getting things to line up and step down is actually a pain. But sometimes it works quite well. And we'll continue doing this along this profile here. I'll remove those individual ones once I've done it. And we pop that like that. And we have this nice gently graded roof section here, which is going to allow us to have a little bit of decoration. Now, it's going to have to come out at least 1 more row, which is fine. But it means I'll have to profile out this area below it, which, again, expected. We wanted to do something like that, so that's fine. And I have to fill in 1 or 2 of these holes where they've basically opened up, which is just 1. But this gives us a nice area here. So I'll grab my shovel back. This area is going to have to move anyway. I'll reprofile the terrain around this once we're done with the house build, but remove this for now. Brr. And we now have a nice side awning. And what does this do? This gives us a bit more interest to the building, because it's no longer just a square with a roof, even though it's not square. We have this little side area, which allows us to actually create something a little bit more unique. So we'll grab a few of those. Those are dark oak. We don't want those. Pretty sure I brought more spruce with me. Let's check the magic box. I have oak. Well then, dark oak will do for the demonstration. I'm going to actually just use these on here. And they'll go all the way up to the top. Just 3 high, and it does exactly what we need. And I'll put that there. And I'll put 2 here. So we've got an entrance at the side there. In fact, this could actually be the main entrance to the house. We could ditch this fully and actually turn this into a door here. In fact, that would probably be a much better idea. But I'll leave 2 on there. Maybe this will be a separate area for a small out room. Maybe I'll use wood. In fact, you know what? I'm going to use wood for this outer wall. And see what this looks like. Terrible because it's the same colour wood as the actual building, but experimentation is often an important thing to do. And as I can see there, yeah, not a big fan of the colour. It's too monochrome. Which means we just get rid of that, and I'll probably try something different. Maybe dark oak. In fact, you know what? The dark oak is actually nicer for this on this exterior here. It adds a little bit of contrast to the design. Makes it look like it's been added rather than it's something original. So, I wonder what dark oak would look like in here. Monochrome, but better. What do you guys think? Probably go with stone. It's going to end up looking more appropriate here. In terms of materials, we'll just do that. It's absolutely fine. We will texture this in later. And it will fill the gap exactly as we need it. Obviously, we're going to have little single gaps there we can plug up later. But for the time being, having a big side entrance, I think, makes it look too posh an interior. We don't want to go for that. We'll just slap those on there to close the gaps in. And when we go outside, we'll give a nice little extension to the property, which now we're using stone actually looks way more appropriate because it looks like it's actually meant to be here. So we'll put a window there, just leave it like that. I should have some, I don't have some glass left on me, so we'll do something with this. Maybe we'll make this a little washroom area. That'll probably be a perfect use for it. They move their bathroom indoors. But that allows us to then fill up that area above it with the material. We'll texture that as we go. And I'll fill up this end wall here just as a temporary. Take a look at this, see how it looks. One of those things that's important during a build is actually deciding if you like something before continuing. There's no point finishing it before you actually get to the point of deciding, does this look right? Sometimes you've got to see. And looking at this, I like the end. With texture, that'll look perfect. It's a little brick-roofed cottage out here on the farmland. I'll make an entrance through this hedgeway here. Why am I doing that when I have shears and I can just pick them up again? Yeah, this looks like a good place. And because, obviously, we texture our pathways because it makes them look more interesting. Some rough dirt, coarse dirt, some gravel. Temporarily, though, we can open up the pathway here into the farm. Try not to go straight to the edge. It does make things look a little bit messy. As I just did there. Fill that in, of course, there. Make it look more suitable. That'll grow with grass in just a moment. But we'll have our entrance to our little farm here. I'll just stack one more up here just to kind of give it a bit more edging, if you will. Give it a bit more kind of surround. Make it look more intentional. Pop one up there. Just to make it look a little uneven, a little bit more rustic. Always looks nice. And now we have our little farm with our smoking chimney. Inside we have a fireplace. And it's ready for an interior. Kitchen, bedroom, lovely. In fact, looking upstairs, we could realistically build our bedroom up here. We have more than enough room. In fact, I will pop those 2 out there. And onto there we have a window. Bang on. We're going to go with stone on this far end as well. So here we built it on the edge of the wall rather than on the edge of that. So we'll come in by 1. Leaving that little overhang on the outside that will do its job nicely. Thankfully here we can go up top and do this. And fill that in. And that'll be our final profile there. And that gives us room to have another window on this end. And I may put one on the front. A bay. Now they can be a little bit more difficult because obviously you have to then factor in angles. And to be honest, I'll leave it without for this because the roof is interesting enough as it is. And interest is what you're going for when you're trying to do a build. There. Like, elytras can be annoying. There we go. It's interesting. It's got its little roof. It's already got some detail to it because of the angle. With a little lean-to adds more shape to the property and makes it look more evolved over time. We've got some nice warm detail. And we have some life to it with the chimney. See, this building, this warehouse, it's very square. But the roof has an interesting profile to it, which adds some more dimension. And it overhangs at the front like a lot of dock buildings do. Upstairs is a weaver's shop, and downstairs is a store yard once it's finished. But this does give us the opportunity to, before things get too far out of hand, it gets too dark, throw in a little bit of last detail to this. At least it's still light over here. If it will help matters, because we have not got enough torches around the place. In fact, I barely put any torches around the place. Hi, zombie. Don't mind me. Having a potato. Not my problem. So, what have we got here in terms of space? Not a ton, because we've kept this quite compact. We've managed to include a ton of detail, but we are a little bit short on room to put more things in. Could you bugger off? I'm recording a video. I've got some spruce fences here. Now, I can't do it on all of these because the windows do get in the way, but I actually can if I put them on the front. And obviously, don't have one hanging off the side. That gets a bit weird. But a little bit more detail adds a little bit more depth. It's maybe a little bit much for a farm building, but I think it sticks out nicely. And using those as our shutters, it doesn't mean we can't use them as a surfacing on the pillars to add more depth. So the fence pieces here do quite a nice job in that regard. Although, in this case, this is one of those times where you'd want to grab another spruce slabs and just lower down each of these ones where you have what is essentially a piece of pillar, and suddenly you have some rather nice detail. Well, it's a simple build, but hopefully you guys rather found that one to be kind of interesting. Hopefully it was something fun to watch and you enjoyed this rather interesting. This was a tutorial, more a how I go about building and how you can go about building and how to go about designing something from scratch. I started this with no plan. This happened from scratch, and as you saw, we evolved along, we redesigned some bits, we changed some parts, and based on solid building practices, you can end up making anything you want, and by adding some small slight twists, you can really add a lot of character to your builds. Hopefully it was fun to watch. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!